Alright everyone, so with this program of ours, I think let's go through the buttons that you need help with. Alright everyone, so let's start with the first one. So for the first letter, we've got variables, sen of type string, first of type string, num of type integer, and then begin's got an error. Who can tell me what is wrong here? What happened to this begin? And if I hover over it, yes, after the integer. Perfect. Right. Okay, so we've got our variables. Then let's see. Step 1, we get the sentence. Perfect. Step 2, we got the length of the sentence. Then step 3, we copied out of sentence from the length. So remember length, if there's 10 characters, we're going to copy from the 10th character. And then we're displaying that. So who can help us here? What went wrong? If I wanted the first character, why is this one showing me the last character every time? Okay, so help us. Yes. Yes, perfect. So if we take it out, what will happen then here? Okay, but what will we put there? We must put something there because we're copying out of sen. And then where do you want to start copying? From the first position. And then how many characters do you want? 1. All right, let's see how this works. No problem. I didn't. You fixed it yourself. I didn't do anything. All right, so there's our sentence. First letter is the A. Perfect. All right, first letter is sorted. Any questions on first letter? All right, sounds good. Then we'll go to the next one, which is last letter. All right, let's have a look. All right, for last letter, we've got sentence, we've got last variable, we've got the length variable. Step 1, we get the sentence. It's perfect. Step 2, we found out how many characters are there in the sentence, which is good. Last, oh, I love this way. Out of sentence, and then we use the square brackets to take the character at position len, which is perfect, and then we display it last. Last is in brackets, which is fine. If you didn't have in brackets, also fine. So either or, and that's perfect, yes. So this is the two ways. Remember, this way, you always get one character. So this is a nice way to just get one character. But the way we did the first one, this one, I want to say is easier in the sense that if you know copy, you can get one character or multiple characters all the same method. While the square brackets only work with one character. So, but I love the square brackets, and then, yeah, and that's our first one. So you'll see the way that we had our first initially with the length, and then copy out of sen from the length was also the last character. So either way would work perfect for gaining the last character from string. Any questions? All right. Then we're going to the first 5 characters. So we've got our variables, a sentence variable, and the first 5 string, both of them strings. It's perfect. Step 1, get the sentence out. Step 2, copy out of sentence from position 1 for 5 characters. And then we're displaying them. Perfect. All right, any questions on this one? Okay, let's have a look at this. So our last 5 letters. We've got a sentence variable, we've got a last 5 variable, both of them strings, and we've got num of type integer. Step 1, get the sentence out of the edit box. Step 2, find out how many characters are there in the sentence. Then for last 5, we're copying out of sentence, and we're starting at position num minus 4. And then we're displaying it. So that might sound Hey, sir, but that doesn't look right. We want 5 characters. Why is it just 4? You'll see if you run it, I think this works perfectly. And the reason for that is, like, even when we wanted the last one, the last position is in length. So if you start 4 before that, you'll get the 5th one and the last 4. So that will sort of work out nice. But the easiest way to just check is run it and to see what happens. And if it only shows 4, then you increase it by 1. But they should be fine. Alright. Then find out where the space is. So we've got a variable sentence of string and space of type integer. Step 1, get the sentence. Step 2, find out where the position of the space is inside the sentence, and then display that variable by just making it a string. Perfect. I want you to see, do you see what we're doing here? This part is the input part. This part is our processing, and then this is our output. So that's sort of how all computer systems work. Input, processing, output. So they use the abbreviation IPO for that. So that's generally when all your programs should follow the steps. Alright, then our last one for now, the amount of letters. So we've got our sentence variable, we've got our number integer variable. Step 1, get the sentence. Step 2, find out how many characters there are with length, which is perfect, and then displaying that one with our into string. Yeah, all of this is perfect. Alright, so let's look at these last two before we start with the more challenging ones. First one, the sentence in capital letters. So we've got our two variables, both strings. Step 1, get a sentence. Step 2, we just use the uppercase function. That will make this variable or this sentence, it will make everything capital letters, putting it in there and then displaying it. So that's perfect. And then our lowercase one, same thing, just opposite. So we get our two variables, then our sentence we extract from the edit box, and then we use the lowercase function to change that thing to lowercase, and then we just display it. So that's perfect. All right, let's look. So we're going to start with the random letter from the sentence. Okay, so we've got some variables here. A random position of type integer, then just a number of type integer, then we've got our random character of type string, and our sentence of type string. So I like our variables, I think they're very useful. Step 1, get a sentence, like we always do. Now, because we want a random letter from that sentence, we need to know how many characters are there. So that's why we use our length and put it into num. So it will tell us there is 20 characters for argument's sake. Then we can go look for a random in that. So that's where our random position comes from. So the random position, the lowest number we want is a position 1 for the first character, and the highest number we want is num, which is the position of the last character. So this will give me a random position between the first character and the last character, randomly choosing one of them. And that will be my random position. So then I just take, for my random character, I then get that from my sentence, and I'm extracting the character at my random position. And then I just display it. The people that like the copy function, you would still go this, then you'll just go copy, and we're copying out of sentence, and then the place where you want to start is your random position, and we want one character. So if you prefer the copy, then you can do it that way, which would also work. So either one will work. I'm going to keep that one for now. This one I'll put in comments. But yes, so if you like the copy more, you can just copy out of sentence, starting at the random position, taking one character. That would give us the same thing as that. And then display it. Alright, that sounds good. I'm taking the silence for good. Alright, now our random alphabet letter. So with this one, let's look at our variables. Technically, we're going to basically do the same thing here. We can't actually get a random character. So we need our random position, which is of type integer. However, we don't need num, because tell me, do you know how many letters are there in the alphabet? Alright, so we know that, so we don't need to do a length. So we know there's 26. So we're happy with, so we don't need the num. But we will need a random character again, which is of type string. And now the difference, instead of just having a sentence, we'll maybe just have the alphabet, but that will also be a string. So now, instead of extracting the sentence from my edit box, I can just say my alphabet gets the value from, and then I can just put the alphabet in A, B, C. So instead of extracting the alphabet, we just put it in. So we just say our variable gets the value of, and we give it the whole alphabet. So that is by sort of the input part. So now we've got our alphabet. We know there's 26 characters. So now we can go immediately to, I'm going to use this. So now I can, let's take it one at a time. So now I can go to my random position again. So now my random position, I want the random number between 26 and 1. Because that's how many characters are. So either 26, which will give me the last one, or a 1, which will give me the first one. That will give me that random. Then my random character, I want to then extract. So my random character I can then get from my alphabet at the random position. And then I can just display that. So that would be my EDT random alph. In the text field, we want to give it our random char. And that's how you would do a random character. So I think most of you are thinking, there must be like a special function or something fancy to get it. There's nothing fancy. We make up our own sentence with the alphabet. We still get a random position. We still just get a character at that position, and then we just display it. So I want to say, like inside inverted quotes, we're sort of cheating it, but that's how we do it. Our last one. We want to see if the first character is a capital letter. All right. So let's think of our variables we might need. Do you agree? We're going to need a sentence. So we're going to need the sentence, which is a string. And then we want the first character. So let's say first, which will be a string. Okay, let's just do that for now. I'm not sure if we'll need anything else. So step one, we get our input, so we get the sentence. So sentence we get from our edt sentence.text. Now I've got the sentence. So now I just need the first character. How do I get the first character? Yes. So what can I type here? Or so just type 1 and 1. Copy function, yeah. 1. minus 1. And remember our copy. First part is out of which variable do you want to copy. So out of which variable do we want to copy? Out of sen. Copy out of the sentence. And then we put our comma. Now it's the index. So now it's where do you want to start? Wait, from the first character. And then we put a comma again. And then how many characters do we want? 1. Right. Okay, that's perfect. So now we've got the first character. What we could even do is, let's say, cap first. So let's also have the first character, but in a capital letter. So cap first. How can I make this first letter now a capital letter? Is there something I can do to it to make it a capital letter for me? Yes, perfect. So we can use uppercase of first. So do you agree? These two are the same, except this one is the original, and this one is the first letter but capital letter. So now what we can do is, if I want to compare two things, what structure do I need? And the answer I was looking at. Perfect. Yes, well done. We want the if. So if our first is equal to cap first, then again, then in our edit box, check the text. We can say, so if they're equal to each other, we can say yes. Let's quickly just test this though. So if they're equal to each other, we're going to say yes. And then we can just maybe add an else, begin and end, and then in our edit, check the text. We can maybe just say a no if they are not equal to each other. Alright, so let's run this. So if our sentence is all small letters, I say check, then it says no. If it starts with a capital letter and then small, it says yes. So a quick run through again. We extracted the sentence. Then we got the first character out in its original state. Then we took that first one and we just made it a capital letter and put that into another variable. So both these two variables has got the first character inside. The only difference is this one is how it was, and then we took that one and we made it a capital letter. And then we went to go check. If the original is equal to the capital letter one, that meant it was a capital letter. So then we can say yes. And if they're not equal to, it means it wasn't a capital letter.